It's actually good. Get it? I just said that Fortnite sucks ass. Statement isn't completely untrue. Fortnite is pretty shit. Let's go. Alright, welcome to the stream. Yeah, something that's other than Fortnite. It's amazing. I'm sorry, no, yeah. I'm sorry, no, yeah. I feel like this game gets boring for the exact opposite reasons that Fortnite gets boring. Fortnite gets boring because you only have limited things to do. Yeah, in this game, it's a damn shame, Nolan. I'm so sorry for you. But I feel like... sorry. But I feel like this game gets boring because of the exact opposite reasons that Fortnite gets boring. Fortnite gets boring because you have limited things to do. The player has almost no control over anything. You basically just, here's what, you're basically given a list, almost a list of groceries. You can only buy these, nothing else. You can't get anything else that you might need later on. Only this. This game, it doesn't necessarily get boring to me. It gets more tedious, more repetitive. You have to, like, mining, that just gets a bit boring. Creative mode, I don't really get bored. I love to build my bases. That's also why I love Fallout. But Fortnite gets boring because no matter what game mode you're in, no matter what you do, you're always doing the same thing. Always, constantly. You're never given a choice of what you want to do. The game isn't very open to the player. It's more what they put in the game is what you have to do, and you have to deal with it. This game, sure, there are limitations to it, but I feel like the player has much more freedom whenever they are playing this game. The player gets to customize their character, which has just been recently added. True, they didn't have that 2 years ago when the game was first released, but they've added it now, which is, it's a nice change of pace for this game. But they've made character customization a thing. Fortnite doesn't have that. You're given some skins, some back bling, you have to pick what you want, and that's all you can have. Whatever you buy is what you get. This game, it gives you freedom. Yes, there is a limited selection of skins, but still, you get to customize the color patterns. You can't do that in Fortnite. You just get to have the characters have their own unique features, which is what I love about this game. Same goes for Fallout 4. The player is given more freedom it's an open world game, Fallout 4. You can build settlements if you so choose. You can do whatever you want. You can even avoid the main quest entirely. You don't have to do anything in that game. You can kill whoever you want. Whereas Fortnite, there's no story, no story orientation, which is understandable. It's a battle royale, but it's just a repetition, doing the same thing and never really achieving anything. I should play Fallout 4. Streaming, making 3 videos every day. I think I could do that. But that's why I love this game, and that's why I love Fallout 4. Because the player is given freedom. That's how I feel games should be. It's the way the player wants to play it, not the way it's... The game shouldn't have a specific way to be played, like Fortnite. It has specific things that you have to do in order to actually play it and have a fun experience. You have to be able to build, you have to be able to do all sorts of things. Whereas this game, it's whatever you want. Are there things that you have to do in order to actually be able to play the game? Yes, you have to be able to control your character. Same with Fallout, you have to be able to control your character and get past like an intro. But other than that, you're completely free to do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what it is. You're given freedom. And that's something that I really love about this game and Fallout. The player gets the freedom that they want. But yeah, that was a rant. Oh, I don't know if I showed it on stream, but they finally were able to fix the bugs with not being able to place the fleet command room, and I really, really like that. I think I showed it. I'm not sure. But now I can manage my fleet. Yeah. So Nolan, I'm pretty sure that it's you watching this stream. Comment what's your least favorite thing about Fortnite. And whoever watches this as a video, just comment what your least favorite thing is about Fortnite. Mine's been a little hazy lately, but I stay alive and take a dive inside my head while I'm hanging by a thread. Eastern time, my state of mind's been a little hazy lately, but I stay alive. Take a dive inside my head. I want to know what the war map does, because right now it doesn't do anything. Engage warp drive. Can you give me something that has war? Dental expeditions. Yeah, the hype. I feel like the hype is slowly dying, though. Ooh, combat patrol. Something, yes. Thank you. Yes. 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 And then we'll go with this one, that's 4. Do I equip that? I don't know. Let's launch expedition. The hype of Fortnite is annoying. Hype is slowly dying though for that game, and I think it's being transferred more into like one-on-one time, like with YouTubers and I guess Twitch streamers, just like you know, things like commenting on comments, you know, stuff like that. Gaming on most channels has kind of died down. If you look at some YouTubers like MiniLad, yes, I do watch him, don't judge, but if you look at him, at first he was just a gaming YouTuber, and I think that he still is every now and then, but he's mainly turned his attention towards like his subscribers. He created, or his subscribers created a Reddit site for him, and he just goes there and reacts to everything that they've done. He's more interacting with his viewers, which is a very smart thing, and I should start doing that, but yeah. But the only way I would really want to react with my subscribers, with my 42 that I have and only 5 that are active, the only thing that I could really do is play games with them. What MiniLad does is he lets his fans just kind of create things, just to take all of their energy and just create something for him, and then he'll put it in a video. It's a very, very cool idea. Yeah, PewDiePie is like that too. With his oh sorry, bumping my microphone. With his Reddit, Reddit subreddit, whatever it's called, and like meme review, all that stuff. It's more reactions to things. Memes seems to be a huge thing for whatever reason, and just connecting with your community more seems to be a huge thing for YouTube now. You know, it's a much more liked thing to engage with your viewers, who actually interact with them, to show them attention. Not that I don't pay you guys attention, because that's what most YouTubers don't do. They don't pay attention to their community. They just focus on the game that they're playing, and it gets views. Fortnite, here, let me go back to what you said. Oh, people being obsessed with Fortnite, yes. Fortnite is a huge obsession with a lot of people. I know people personally who have focused all their energy on Fortnite and haven't focused any of their energy to their actual life. They've put that game in front of all their priorities. These are people that I know in real life, not people that I've seen online. No, these are people that I have met. And it's just sad, because they have families, and they've just lost all attention on their family just because of the game. It's honestly disappointing. Let's see, what else? The game does have a great community. They've done amazing things with the game, but I feel like they're trying to do maybe too much. Like, the game is evolving a bit too fast. I feel like they're kind of, like, over-nourishing their fans. And, like, you look at a game like Star Citizen. It doesn't over-nourish its fans, you know, it feeds them. It doesn't let them starve like No Man's Sky did. No Man's Sky, it went, I think, maybe a whole year without an update because they had kind of given up on it for a while. But then they came back and they were like, okay, we need to do something here. We can't just give up. That I can appreciate because... because they were... When this game first came out, it went bad. A lot of people thought that it was going to be a lot more like Star Citizen. It wasn't. It just failed. Star Citizen, I think, came out a little bit before this or after this game. But they imagined this game to be a lot like Star Citizen with the multiplayer, customizable ships, all that stuff. But it wasn't. You know, it went downhill. Sony kind of dropped it. They were like, okay, we don't really want this to be only on our console. We kind of want to get rid of this. We don't really want anything to do with this. And then it moved over to PC as well as Xbox. I think on Steam, it is like the most sold now. Probably since the new update, which is No Man's Sky Next. At least I'm pretty sure that's what the update is. But, the people that, used to play this game didn't really play it during the whole year that they were being starved of new content. Because after a while, the game gets boring, it gets repetitive, there's nothing new to do, it's just repeating the same thing over and over again, and not really evolving to the next stage, just staying stuck in the same point. I'll reference another game, PUBG. That's another battle royale. It was pretty good at the start of its launch. It was actually amazing at the start of its launch. It's the thing that caused H1Z1 to basically go out of business. You know, PUBG came out, H1Z1 basically went down the drain as soon as that came out. H1Z1 was going down the drain even before that, though. It was lacking in new content, a lot of people were moving on, and PUBG came out. PUBG, successful launch. It was a great game. Out on Xbox. I don't think that is out on PlayStation 4. I don't think so. But out on Xbox. And maybe PC. But the main reason why it died is because its audience was being starved of new content. People move on from games eventually, you know. They get bored of a certain subject. All people are evolving constantly, changing their tastes. Here's an example. Me. If you go to my playlist, if you go over to my channel and then you go to playlist, there's a playlist there titled My Music. That is a combination of almost every song I've listened to throughout my entire life. The ones at the very top of the playlist are the most recent. You can see how much I have changed from my taste of music. All the way at the bottom is like YouTubers' outros. I loved those. I don't like them anymore. That's why they're all the way at the bottom. Then there's like techno music. I still like it, I just don't listen to it as much, so it's towards the bottom. Then there's like some Imagine Dragons, some weird hippie shit there too. And then closer and then closer and closer to the top, it gets more to rap, like BB No Dollar Sign, J Kill. It keeps on changing. Just like before, I used to like Fortnite. I don't like it anymore. My taste has changed, and right now it's oh, love those glitches. But people change. That's why PUBG died. It wasn't providing enough new content, so people started losing interest in it. Do people still play it? Yes. It's just dying slower. It's just slowly dying more and more. Less people are playing it. It's not selling as much. They're slowly losing money. Now, same goes for this game. Most people haven't even heard about this game until just recently, due to the new update. For all they know, it's a new game, and it technically is. But it's an old game. I've probably been playing it since launch, and during the whole year when this game was being starved of new content, I didn't play. I had no reason to play. There was nothing new. Quit playing Fortnite and start streaming Fallout 4? I think I'll stream Fallout in the morning, Fortnite 2 games in the mid-afternoon, and then No Man's Sky at night. But back onto my rant. Think about it like this: if you overfeed something, or think about a plant. How about that? If you give it too much water, it dies. Because it's had too much. It can't take anymore. It basically drowns. There was too much water. Think about every drop of water that you're adding to that plant as every update that Fortnite is sending to its community. The plant is Fortnite's community. It can handle a lot of water being thrown at it. It can handle a tropical storm. It can handle a hurricane. But once it gets hurricane after hurricane, it starts to die. And eventually, it just can't take anymore. Think about, like me. Okay, I was part of the Fortnite community. I was part of the plant. I was like a leaf. I was able to handle multiple storms from that game, multiple hurricanes. But I finally had enough. There were too many updates for me to keep track with. Every time I got used to something, another thing was changing. Every time there was this new thing added, there was an old thing removed that I used to use. Sorry, sensitivity is high. But and that was one leaf taken off of the humongous I'll say tree now. And eventually there's gonna be entire branches, limbs falling off of that tree due to the storm that they're creating. If you overfeed something, eventually it gets fat. You know, it's eating too much. It's starting to slow down. because it's not able to move as fast. And eventually, if you keep feeding it more and more, it dies. It's eaten too much. Its body isn't able to digest it. It's dead. I'm not saying that them updating their game is a bad thing. It's an amazing thing that they're able to update their game so often. It's amazing that they have so many thoughts for ideas for new content. But once you have created one idea, it's more difficult to come up with the next idea and the next idea. That's why some of the most recent updates, I feel, have been lacking in actual content. Now, once again, back to the overfeeding or overwatering subject. Once again, it's an amazing thing that they're able to provide so much content for their community. But after a while, the content starts lacking. They're not creating as great of ideas as they had. Like Season 3. Towards the middle of that, they had the meteor. That was an amazing idea. It added a new location to the game. It created, and at the meteor you could unlock a new skin. It added things to make the game a bit more difficult. Meteorites would fall and they would break structures. It added a new skin to the game in Season 4? Yeah, Season 4. It added new things to the game in Season 4. It added a chance for it added a chance for players to complete challenges in order to earn skins. You know, something that they could earn. Not only the battle pass, but they could earn things by completing challenges. It was an amazing update in my opinion. I loved it. It added a new location to the map, Dusty Divot. I was sad that Factory was gone, but it added a new location and added new items. It was a very thought out and well planned update. But I feel like Season 5, the update was lacking. In the middle of Season 4, you saw, or not in the middle, but towards the end of Season 4, if you saw my live stream, you were able to see the rocket go up into the sky and cause a giant vortex. That was cool to see. I loved seeing that. But the problem with what followed was the new map didn't really have, like, the new locations didn't really have a background. Like, sure, the vortex probably just zapped up all of Moisty Mire and placed down this desert area from California or some shit. I feel like that one was less thought out. I feel like they didn't put in nearly as much effort as they did for the previous updates. Now, why do I think this, you might be asking? I'm thinking this because of some very specific reasons. They didn't show in detail how the giant crack in the sky in Fortnite works. I mean, sure, we can guess, but I didn't see anything explaining how it works. When you use the rifts inside of the game, it seems to suck you up into the sky and then shoot you down. That's telling me that the vortex is connected to only the world of Fortnite. It's not connected to anything outside of that. Now, can we guess by the fact that it said California today and then boom, the guy was zapped up into this game? Yes, we can assume that. And chances are that is what happens. But I feel like there was less effort taken into that update. They seemed not as focused on the lore of how their map was changed. And the new location, I think it could have been better. Like, yeah, it's cool to have a new environment into a game. I'm talking about the desert area. I'm not talking about the Viking or the Lazy Links. Those places are fine. I love those places. But it could have been a much better update. It should have been more thought on. They should have thought more on what they were planning to do before releasing the update. Just some thoughts. Let's see. What else shall I talk about? What other trash shall I say about Epic Games and their poor decisions? Oh, Save the World. 50% off. It's not their most sold game. And my god, is it expensive. Holy shit. If you look at how expensive that game that game is, like, my god. It is insane. I'm pretty sure that there was one version of it for like over $100. That's for like a story mode based game. I doubt someone's gonna be spending almost $100 just for a story based game that probably doesn't have enough content to offer. Now, they advertise their Save the World a lot in Epic. They advertise their Save the World game a lot in Fortnite. And that's some pretty smart advertising. You know, you're reaching out to a community, but they're advertising it to the wrong people. People that play Fortnite Battle Royale are not going to be playing whatever it's called, just Fortnite. I'll say Fortnite Story Mode. That's what I'll call it. They're two completely different games by a long shot. Firestorm. Okay, that makes my game glitch out. So I'm gonna hop in here and I'm gonna take off. But Nolan, I'm pretty sure that you're still watching. Have you seen Save the World? It's basically zombie, almost survival game. Whereas, yeah, Save the World. How did I forget that? Whereas Fortnite Battle Royale is a battle royale game. 100 players PvP. You know, you're fighting with other players. I'm pretty sure that people who are leaning towards a more multiplayer experience, fighting other players, aren't going to want to play something where they're going against AI fighting zombies. Let me know what your thoughts on that are on that. Because, jeez. They're advertising to the wrong people. I'm still tired, but since I'm ranting, it makes it a bit easier for me to stay awake. It's only 10. But this is just a rant about Fortnite. Simon made a point in my last stream, which was my Fortnite stream. He made the point that the game is still an alpha. Yes, it is still an alpha, and I know that. But you could tell a lot about a game just based off of the alpha. And the alpha is kind of like an alpha that you would get for Battlefield. Battlefield's alphas are, you know, they're well thought out, they're well planned. Fortnite's alpha right now, you know, it's well planned. They're sticking with what they have so far. They're still making changes to the game, yes, but everything right now that's in the game, every weapon, almost every location, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with all that, but every single piece of equipment, I'll say, all the user interface, everything, it is all planned out. They've planned everything. Fallout. That's a game that, just because I'm reading the comments, Fallout, that's a game that is somewhat like No Man's Sky, but with the starving of content for their audience. But Fallout did an amazing thing, which was they added mods into the game. They let their community put forth creations and ideas and allowed them to implement it into the game. They also added Creation Club, which was another way for them to make money, which is a very smart idea. And that's why I rarely lose interest in that game. I'm sorry, I just have to lower this. I'm gonna lower it to 20. There we go, that's better. This planet is laggy though. I'm just gonna keep ranting about Fortnite this entire time. Well, whenever I can think of something. Oh, building. It's something that I'm decently good at, you know, in the game. If you watched my live stream, you saw I was trying to build. I pressed O once. I was spamming R2. Didn't build until I had at least lost all my shield and was down to 75 health. It's an amazing feature that they added to the game. It adds another level of complexity. I think it's complexity. And adds a new element to gaming that I don't think has really been tapped for an online multiplayer. And it's a very good idea, but I don't think that they have figured out how it should work. I think that they're still trying to tap it. They're still trying to make sure that guns can do damage to building, but they're also messing up with the way that people play the game, because while they're experimenting with what things go well, the players are also stuck with new things to learn, which is it's very challenging to learn something new whenever you have already adjusted to something that is old. Like, building has been changed up quite a lot. If you look at the way I used to play the game, I used to play with triangle. I didn't know that I could adjust my controls. And the adjustment from that to Combat Pro, it was difficult. I was so used to using triangle for everything that it was just difficult. Same with my sensitivity. My sensitivity on that game is 10. I haven't played that game in quite a while. Fortnite. My sensitivity on that game is 10. I used to play every single day, and it took me hours, if not a whole day, to adjust to 10 sensitivity. I was so used to whatever I was playing at, well, it was maybe like 6 or 7 sensitivity. And it's changes like that they, well, so the changes that they're making are much more extreme than the changes of some new settings for your game. Their changes are things that I don't have any control of. Like, if I change my settings, if I change my sensitivity up to 10, I can always lower it back down to whatever I felt comfortable at. If that was like 2 or 5, I can just switch it back to that. I have control of what I want my sensitivity to be. I have control of what I want my game to look like, how the graphics are. But when there's something new that they add where the player can't control what happens, or not necessarily what happens, but where the player can't where the player can't like switch back. Yes, there is an option to not update your game, but then chances are it runs slow because every update they're always adjusting some lag. Every now and then there's that update. But like the building nerf, wood building has been nerfed by I think 50 health. It's down to 150 health. It adds a huge wave of difficulty to the game, because this is in Fortnite, it is the state of the game where it is spray and pray. Sometimes you don't even have to pray. You can just spray your weapon and you can kill someone without a doubt. Varying on how good they are. You can just shoot out someone's build easily. The SMGs have been buffed, shotguns have been nerfed, build is gone. 150 health? No. Metal build was buffed. I think it was buffed who really cares? You only use metal in late game. You don't use that to get into a build battle. It'll just get shot down. Now, I think what they should do, if they truly want their game to not die, is to not let their community starve, but to not overfeed them. They shouldn't make their community, like, beg for content out of this game. They shouldn't make their community request content to be stopped either. I think that they should have to, I think that what Epic Games should do is they should slow down on their updates. They do weekly updates, whether it just be a new cosmetic item in the shop, a new skin, or an update that adds a whole new level of difficulty. I think they should slow down. Even 1 month sounds even every month sounds almost like too much. I think it would be best if they tried every 1.5 months, or maybe even less than, or maybe even more than that. Maybe every 2 months they decide to drop a new update. Cosmetic items, those can keep coming in on a weekly basis. It adds a new way for players to customize themselves. It makes them feel like they have more control. But back to the plant theory. You water the plant too much, it's gonna die. You water it too little, it's gonna die. You have to water it the correct amount, otherwise it's just gonna die. Right now I feel they're pushing too much content onto their community. Once there's they release new content probably every week, maybe every 2 weeks. There's always something new, whether it be a new gun. Like, right now they're even planning to create a new gun. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when they're going to add that to the game, but I would assume probably in a few days, maybe less than a week. No, I don't want that game to die. I really don't. I enjoy it every now and then. The main reason I've wanted to get away from it is because they're adding too much. It's getting almost confusing for old players. They have to adjust to rules that didn't exist when they first started playing, and their old players are almost punished for being old. It seems like they're trying to reach for a newer audience, but even the newer audience who are learning about this game from YouTubers like Ninja, streamers like Ninja, they're gonna they're going to have difficulty learning, because with the new updates, it's extremely difficult to learn how to play this game. There can be multiple people shooting at you. As a noob, it's confusing to... As a noob, I didn't even know how to build. If you go back to my first live stream of Fortnite ever, I didn't know how to build at all. I didn't understand anything in that game. But I was playing the game at an early age. There weren't guns that were too buffed. Everything seemed neutral. Oh, let's listen to this. Have some pain, wash my strip away. Ask about the 16. That's your point. This game's getting a bit laggy. But with the way Fortnite is now, I feel it would be best if they just slowed down on all their updates. It gets overwhelming. It's like being handed... I'm using a lot of similes here. Proud of myself. But it's like, going back to the plant idea, too much water. Too much of something gets overwhelming. It's hard to kind of deal with. If you have, let's say, too much junk in your house, you know, just things that shouldn't be there, it gets overwhelming. Eventually it starts piling up, and that's when you get like a hoarder on your hands. There's just too much. You don't know what to do with all of it. You try to get rid of it. You try to understand. You try to like understand it and then move it out of your house, but you still find yourself collecting more and more, as if it's endless, never able to get rid of what you don't want. Oh, this isn't my system. But their game is good. It's a good game. It's brought a whole bunch of people together. It's brought an insane amount of people together. But I feel like more and more people are losing interest, and they keep on doing what their community asks them to do, which is, it's nice. It's a good thing to interact with your community, but you shouldn't have them decide your every move. Think about the YouTuber MiniLad. He asks his community to create Reddit posts for him, and then he reacts to them. It's not his community telling him to react to this. It's him telling his community to do this so that he can provide content for his community. I imagine it's a bit difficult to put everything I just said into a game, but yeah. If they keep on doing what their community if they keep on doing what their community tells them to do, it's just going to ruin their game. Their community tells them to nerf shotguns. Well, you just got 1/3, if not 2/3 of the people that play this game mad at you, just because of the 1/3 of people who think that shotguns are overpowered when they're perfect. Then your community then their community tells them to nerf building, or maybe that was just their own decision. I think that it was their community though, to nerf building because it's harder on newer players. It shouldn't. You shouldn't have your community decide so much for you. You should be able to put your foot down and say no. You shouldn't be so scared of your community that you just allow them to control you. It just ends up with you losing, and with them losing, because I guarantee that the creator of something almost always, okay, almost always knows more than the community that they are providing it to. Also, is the camera glitched like that? Okay. And sure, it's okay to listen to your community. Listen, though. You don't have to act on everything that they tell you. You can just decide on whether or not you want to act on what they tell you. But if you listen to like 5 to 20 kids on Twitter who are yelling at you about nerfing shotguns, okay. Sorry. Oh, fuck, I forgot where I was. Let me just go back to my stream and recheck. Sorry for this. I was interrupted. I'm gonna pause this because it's getting very laggy. Let's rewind it a bit more. Okay, so I was talking about nerfing shotguns. Sorry for the inconvenience. I had to do that real quick. So, as I said before, sorry, throat's a bit irritated. Been talking a lot today. As I said before, it's okay to listen to your community when you are a creator. But if you act too much on what they say, it makes them feel like they're in control, and that's not a bad thing. You know, it makes them feel comfortable. It makes them feel like they really are a part of everything that you've created for them. But there's a problem with that, because there are people out there who are going to think, oh, this is mine now. This isn't yours. I created this, not you. If you rely too much on your community, it can hurt you as a creator. I have a YouTube channel, you know, I don't create much. I listen to my community, I do. I don't do everything that they say. Like, they'll recommend I play a game, I won't play that game. I'm not doing it to irritate them, I'll do it out of pure preference. If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to. That's my decision. That's what I feel like most content creators now need to learn to do. Epic needs to learn to not listen to their community. They have a great community, they do, but there are those people in their community who are fucking awful, who aren't good people. Not that that has anything to do with their game, but those people can say things that can affect their game, and in the end can ruin everything for all of us who play the game. It's, without a doubt, the most difficult thing today, I would say, is to provide content for other people. Like me, my YouTube channel is probably never gonna reach, it's probably never going to reach a million subscribers. I've kind of accepted that. It doesn't mean I won't try. It just means I'm accepting the fact that I have a chance of not getting as far as I would like to get. But creating content is difficult. This right here, it's somewhat difficult. I have to think of what I'm going to say, make sure that nothing is that there's no copyright music whenever I'm playing a game, and I have to make sure that people are entertained while I'm playing this game. Otherwise, I won't get any views. My YouTube channel will slowly die. That's something that I don't want to happen, but if it happens, then there's not a lot I can do about it. Now, I appreciate that Epic listens to their community. They've created a phenomenal game. It is probably the most hyped game right now, and the hype is either still growing or is now starting to die down. But I know that many YouTubers appreciate the content that Fortnite provides them because it provides them with new videos to create. But it also makes their job a bit difficult because they have to make sure that they can find the new map locations, make sure that they can get there in time to show everyone that watches them actual gameplay, actual content. Otherwise, they will lose subscribers, or they just won't have anything interesting for their subs to see, which eventually could lead to the death of that YouTube channel. Fuck. Now, this Fortnite has been out for a bit over a year now. It would be sad to see the game die so soon. The launch for Fortnite, I think, was a bit slow. You know, not a lot of people were hearing about it, but then a lot of YouTubers started playing it. Season 2 came out, or maybe it was towards the end of Season 2. I feel like it started picking up a lot of hype. Beginning of Season 3, so many people were on board with it. Season 4, insane amount of people were on board. Season 5, I think the number has actually dropped since the release of their game. Trying to think of shit. They shouldn't starve their community, but they also shouldn't overnourish them. They shouldn't water them too little, but they also shouldn't water them too much. I think that they should feed their community on a regular basis. Not feed them so much that they fucking die. Not water them. They should water their community on a regular basis. Add little drops of water. Daily new cosmetic items. It's an amazing thing that they do. Daily items that players can buy. Possibly my favorite thing about the game. That they keep on coming up with daily... Wait, is it daily? No, I think it's only weekly. Actually, no, it's daily because the little sidebar. But, the main skin they change about every week. The featured skin they change about every week. And then the other things is changed daily. At least I'm pretty sure it's been a while. But it's great. I think that the updates that they do besides cosmetic items are bad. They do them too often. I would really love if they would fix their servers more often. I would love to have a server fix almost every day. It would be amazing. It would, if they can figure out what's wrong with their servers, adjust lag, adjust ping, it would be absolutely amazing. That's something that I would like to see them do. I would love to see them have daily updates where they are adjusting server issues and also adding new cosmetic items. Every week they can add a new featured skin like they've been doing. But I think every month, or maybe not every month. Maybe every month or every 2 months, they should have a new buff, have a new nerf, adjust things that they would like to change. They're still tinkering with the game, which is surprising to say. It's an alpha, it's been out for a very long time, yet they're still adjusting the game. And that's cool. It's been out for a year and it's still an alpha. The alpha isn't like as raw of an alpha as Star Citizen is. Star Citizen is an extremely early alpha, still in development. Not everything in that game works. This game, it's like a released alpha with some updates every here and there. Like what Call of Duty does and all that. I'm gonna end the stream soon. But just for some reason it's difficult for me to think today. They're feeding their community too much. They're watering the plant far too often. The daily updates, that's like a little drop, you know, well, not all the daily updates, but the daily updates with cosmetic items and possibly, which I would love to see, and possibly server issue updates I would love to see that. That'd be like little droplets going into the water. Going into the plant, you know. It's not hurting it. It's not harming it in any way. It's adding to it. It's making it grow stronger. And that's something that I think should be seen whenever creating a game, is growth and development, not harming the game. That way it's unplayable, but also not helping the game. Well, also not helping the game too much that it hurts it. Does that make sense? Doesn't. I can understand if it doesn't make sense. But it's hard to think about anything else. If they were to have daily updates where it is an update on cosmetic items and fixing server issues, that would be a very, very reasonable update that they should make. It'd be a very smart move on their part because it's adjusting things. If you look at my ping whenever I'm playing the game, it's constantly at 200. I'll be streaming and it's almost always at 200. Before whenever I'm streaming, before the most recent update, which I think was the nerf to build, before that update, it was normally between, I would say, 150 and less than, between 150 and maybe 40, I think. If they do a weekly update, which is a new featured skin, maybe just a featured skin every week. Then I'm thinking every 2 months they create a new nerf or a new buff based on the most popular decisions by their community. They can host Twitter polls, they can host Instagram polls, YouTube polls, all sorts of shit they can do that they are missing out on. That way they can truly get a bigger interaction from the community. There can even be links to it in their game. If you hit R2, it pulls up a display menu which tells you the new featured skin, what they're planning on adding, and like save the world right now. Those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll have another rant soon. But thank you guys so much for watching. Much love. Peace.